Hello! So I recently got a comment on my last video asking for a day in the life video, which I was like kind of afraid to do that because I didn't want to seem like a weirdo going out and like filming the world, you know? I didn't want people to be like, "Why are you filming me?" And I'm being kind of quiet because I can hear people upstairs and I don't want them to hear me talking to myself because that's a little weird. I did my best. It had just snowed and so like there was a lot of people out there like taking pictures and videos and stuff outside, so I didn't feel as weird having my phone out and like filming stuff. So I chose that day and it was mostly just like me time-lapsing my walk between classes. I took a couple of videos at a couple of my classes, but mostly I'm just gonna kind of like voice over the videos and stuff and explain what's going on. Oh, I also took, you know, like getting ready in the morning and like some stuff like at night. I filmed it on Tuesday, which was November 12th. I chose to talk about my busiest day of the week, which is 4 classes. My freshman year I did have 2 days a week, which were 5 classes, which is a lot. Don't do that. Yeah, this year I have 4 classes on Tuesdays, which is like the most classes that I have. So I don't really know why the person who asked me to do a day in the life video asked me to do a day in the life video, but hopefully I can help someone out there, you know, someone who's maybe thinking about Cornell or trying to strategize their college schedule, or, you know, somebody who wants to know about off-campus living also, because I sort of touched on that too, or curious about like the study methods that I use. I feel like I didn't really show much of like the campus or anything for like people who were considering Cornell, but I did show a little bit of like the view of the slope and stuff and what it looks like when it snows. Maybe I should do like a weekend one where I do my laundry and go to Wegmans. But as far as like the school day goes, that was pretty much a typical day. I mean, that was my busiest day.
Hello. I feel like when people do like a day in the life video or a daily vlog or something, why is my voice gone? I feel like people don't actually start it when they wake up in the morning, but I thought I should because it's 7:10. My alarm went off at 6:30 and I'm still in bed because this is the real life of a college student, I guess. I don't know. I've been, you know, on Twitter and I've checked the weather, which is something that I would have to do anyway. I'll probably check it again later because it changes like every hour. I'm gonna try to get out of bed. It's so warm in my bed and it's so cold outside of my bed, you know? That's my main issue, especially that it's gotten so cold recently. But yeah, this is how it starts, is me not getting out of bed when I should.
So this is in the morning. I was converting my notes, which I'll talk about later in another part of the video, but I also, real quick at the beginning, wrote in that journal planner thing. Please ignore my Chemical Romance t-shirt that I bought when I was in the middle of my emo phase. So basically, when I first wake up in the morning, I usually do something quick and or easy because I don't really have that much time in the morning, but I do have like a good chunk of time to get things done. So yeah, that's like before I even get breakfast and everything, so that's why I need it to be like something easy, you know. If I mess it up, it's not the end of the world. So this is me making my morning waffle. I've got that waffle maker. It's from a garage sale. It was honestly one of the best purchases I've ever made. It's really great. And I checked it a few times to see if it was done. That butter thing is from a thrift store. It looks kind of bougie, but it's just like a butter holder thing. Put the stick of butter in it and then it keeps it at room temperature, and if you have real dairy butter, you can keep your butter at room temperature in one of those things for about 2 weeks, I think. I usually keep mine in there for about a week at room temperature, which makes it easier to spread, and plus I think the silver thing looks pretty. So here's me eating my waffle in the morning. I'm watching Love Island UK with the subtitles on because I can't understand those people sometimes. So yeah, the waffle is really good. I found a hair in my waffle, but because I made it myself, I knew it was my hair, so I just sort of threw out the piece that had the hair in it and kept eating the rest of the waffle. So yeah, I make my own food because I don't have a meal plan. I know some people stay on the meal plan all the time. I do not have a meal plan because I kept like not having enough motivation to go to the dining hall and get dining hall food, and then I kept like wasting my meal swipes, and I felt bad because each meal swipe is worth like $12 or something. And then also the like BRBs, I just like I like never used those either, so I had like tons left at the end of the semester, and then they rolled over to the next semester, but they don't roll over to the next year. So by the end of my freshman year, I had to go to an on-campus store with my mom and get like $200 worth of stuff so that I wasn't wasting a bunch of my BRBs. Okay, so I double checked the weather again, and it appears that there's going to be some snow later, and then it's supposed to be like 25 or 26 degrees for the entire day. So I go into my closet. I just double check the weather again for like the rest of the week. If you're not from a place with the kind of weather patterns that we have in Ithaca, dressing for the weather is kind of a skill that you have to learn, but basically I always check the weather for the rest of the week to see if can I use my thickest jeans today, or do I have to use them in a colder day later this week. So I have to sort of like budget my warmer clothes and make sure that I'm gonna be warm enough. So today it appears to be the coldest day this week, at least before the next time I do my laundry. So I am going to use my warmest pants, which are these like really thick denim jeans that don't have rips in them, and they're also like wide leg, because like with skinny jeans you're like kind of directly in contact with like the air. I don't know. It might not make sense at all. And then I'm also going to use my thickest sweater today because it's gonna be cold. And I have to walk a lot today, so it's a pretty good day to use my warmest clothes. And then, yeah, I look kind of greasy because I just moisturized. I always find it's like super helpful to like make sure that I like do my like morning routine as far as like, you know, washing my face and moisturizing and everything, and also at night too, because oh, I thought that was my hair. It's just a crack in my ceiling. Because if I don't do that, then I start feeling like really greasy and gross, and it just kind of like ruins my mood. Okay, so this is the full look after I got dressed. So this is like a warm sweater, and then my warm jeans, and then my snow boots. Yeah, these are really nice snow boots. They kind of make my socks bunch up on the inside, but that's fine. This is my book bag. It's got umbrella, water bottle on the other side. My laptop, my folder, which I have filler paper in there for taking notes in my lectures later today. My purse with my money and my student ID and stuff. My little journal planner thing, my pencil case with pencils and pens and whiteout, and an eraser, and I don't know, I think a highlighter maybe? I don't know, but I don't use notebooks to take notes because then you have to bring the entire notebook to class, and I just feel like that's too much. I like to take notes on filler paper and then put them in a binder later instead of a whole notebook. And I'm also going to put on my winter coat. I also have my hat and my gloves. So this is the walk from my apartment up to the slope, and then I'm gonna include the video from the slope, like of the view. Yeah, I live kind of by West Campus, not on West Campus. But yeah, this gives you a really great idea of what the sidewalk conditions are like when it snows, I guess. But yeah, they do have like sidewalk plows. So here's a video of and like the view from the slope. I do walk up the slope every day. I don't mind walking, and even if it's cold, it's easy to warm up as you're walking. So this is the rest of the walk to my first class. It's about a 15-minute walk. It's at 9:05. It's a lecture for my lab class that I have. That class is pretty boring, not gonna lie. Yeah, I don't really have much to say about that class because it's a bio major requirement, the investigative bio lab. It's kind of boring. So I use an app called Chipper, which is basically just like a planning app for like school. I just sort of use it as more of a to-do list that I can like have ready to go at any time. Like if I use my planner for like a to-do list kind of thing, I have to like fish that out and have a pen and stuff, but like this is just on my phone, so it's a lot easier to access. And then it also gives you like rewards of like money. It has some sort of like thing where it like estimates how much the amount of time that you're putting into your work is going to like earn you in the long run, like in the rest of your life or something. So it sort of like incentivizes you by giving you like a fake money like reward thing. I also use it to like basically log the amount of time I use to study. So this is the walk to my next class, which is my chemistry lecture, and most of this walk is indoors, which is really nice. This is Gen Chem. It's a really hard class, but it's the easiest option for the chemistry bio major requirement. And then I also took a couple of clips in this class. It's a 50-minute lecture. I filmed the demonstrations.
See that white paper next to it, how bright it is? That's ultraviolet light. You see the paper emits white? Because paper is impregnated with these compounds. And there, look at that guy. You see nothing? That's natural detergent. Now let's see Tide. So, that's cool.
Is a compound, well, a solution of nickel sulfate. So we've gone from nickel with water surrounding it, now to nickel with ammonia surrounding it, and now it's gone from green to blue. Tells us something about the energies and the wavelengths of light. I take another nickel solution. This time I add a compound called ethylene diamine. Has 2 nitrogens with lone pairs on them. Start off with green, add the ethylene diamine. Now one.
And I just want you to think of it. What's happening is the width is changing. Constantly the energies are changing here.
So we've got from green to blue to purple. Last but not least, a compound called dimethylglyoxine, which has so many lone pairs that once it basically wraps itself around that nickel ion, it will never let it go. What's called a chelating agent. So it is a red solution, which is actually red precipitate, which is the dimethylglyoxine wrapped around the nickel ions. And calling it precipitate is not really a truthful thing because it's less dense than water. So given time, it'll come to the surface and float.
All of my lectures, except for the investigative bio lecture, I voice record all of my lectures and then I keep them in the voice recorder app so that if I miss something, I can sort of like access that explanation again, which is super helpful. So this is the walk from Bus Stop Bagels to my next lecture. I actually didn't get a bagel this day because the line was super long and I was afraid that I would miss my next class. So this is my furthest class. It's in the engineering quad and it's a hour and 15-minute lecture, so most of the lecture classes are 50 minutes or an hour and 15. I haven't heard of any that are a different time. There's some lab classes that are different. This one's not a requirement for my major. It's a prereq for a class that I want to take. So yeah, this is actually an earth science class. So then I finished that class. So this is me going to the Cornell store and I got a croissant in their cafe, and then I went over to the Willard Straight Hall where they had free popcorn, which I didn't film that part, and then I went to my next class and I had that croissant and the popcorn for lunch. So super great lunch because I didn't get my bagel, but it's fine. This is me walking to my art studio. That's the arts quad that you saw a flash of real quick. This is a 3-hour art studio, which is kind of long, but it's not too bad to get through. And that's one of the studios for my art minor. So in my art class, we were painting popcorn. So I have a before video for you. Here's the after video. Went for more of an abstract look. Not my favorite painting that I've ever done, but it was okay. It was sort of like a speed painting thing. I finished that, and that was my last class of the day. I also found out that because I had an exam on that Thursday, my discussion and study session sort of thing for my chemistry class was canceled, so I deleted those on my app. So this is my walk home. The sun was kind of setting because the sun has been going down super early lately. I stopped the video around West Campus so people don't know where I live. The walk down the hill is honestly kind of worse than the walk up the hill. Going down the hill is kind of hard on the knees, but that's just my personal opinion. So I got home and then I don't remember what I wrote down. I think I might have had like a couple more things that I figured out I had to do. So this is me. Oh, I was doing a quiz that I had to do for my chemistry class. One of the things that I had to learn but has been super helpful once I became aware of it is like making sure that my posture is good when I'm sitting. Like I started having back pain earlier this year from, you know, hunching over for so long. And once I started, you know, watching my posture and then like also doing stretches and strengthening exercises, it has like made the pain stop. And then what I just did was this pre-lecture quiz thing where they introduce the concepts in a quiz and then we take the quiz and then we get a score. I kind of look like I'm about to rob a bank or something. I promise I'm not. I'm just cold. I have to go back to campus for like a meeting for like a program that I'm in. I'm at 5:30. It's like 4:40 or something. But yeah, parking is free after 5, so I'm gonna drive up there. Hopefully I'll find a parking spot. I figured I would show like my notes that I took throughout the day, like talk about how I do my notes. I feel like that might belong in this video. So yeah, I'm gonna flip the camera around. So my first class this morning was like kind of pointless. It always is. So I didn't film in it. My chemistry class, I filmed a little bit of like the demo at the end. This is sort of like a review lecture where we sort of go over all the different techniques of like depicting molecules. And so these are my notes that I took. For chemistry, he doesn't really use PowerPoints very much. Like sometimes he'll put something up on the screen, but usually it's just like him and the chalkboard. So I mostly copy down all the pictures that he draws and then kind of write down some of the things that he says. So most of the pictures here are things that he drew. This is also the reason that I don't type my notes, is because especially for this class, it's a lot of like drawing things. I only have 1 page of notes. It's a 50-minute lecture, which is pretty short. This one, the professor does use a PowerPoint, and so these are the slide numbers down here. I mess it up every single time. Like I always miscount the slides because they're not like, she doesn't have like the numbers on the actual slides, but this is a lot of words. If the slides were posted online beforehand, I would have printed those out and then taken notes directly onto the slides, but she always uploads the PowerPoint afterwards. So basically I take these notes in class and then I bring them back home. So this is like one that I printed out the slides afterwards, and then I write down the slide number that I wrote down for that slide on like my actual notes that I took in class, not necessarily the true slide number. Like sometimes I'll do like in my notes I wrote down slide 43 and then I took notes for this slide, and then I was taking notes and I didn't realize that she changed the slide, and then she changed the slide again, and then I looked up again and I thought this was the next slide, so I called this one number 44 in my notes, even though it was actually number 45. But it doesn't really matter because I just put the number next to the slide on the slides that I print out, and no one else is ever gonna like look at these except for right now that I'm filming them. But it's just a way of taking notes and being able to correspond the notes with the correct slides when I get them later. So yeah, and then also they're in color because I have my own printer. There she is. She prints in color. Most of the campus printers, I think, either don't print in color or color is like more expensive. I don't do campus printing anymore because it's like 9 cents a page and it's stupid. I staple the notes that I took in class to the back just in case I like miss something or I need to look back to the way that I actually worded it. But usually like sometimes with these, I have like a lot of grammatical errors or I have like incomplete thoughts and stuff that doesn't really make sense. So the sooner that I get to transferring it over here, the easier it is to like remember what I actually meant from my notes. And there's also things like I can do things like this where I relate the notes directly to a certain line on the slide that I couldn't do with, you know, just pages of notes like this. So yeah, that's why I like to have the slides when I can. And then another class that I have where we have slides is I'm in intro psych. This is from like last week or something. Yeah. But basically I take notes the same way like this. I don't print out the slides though because he uses slides with a black background and I don't want to print that out. That I just look on my laptop. There it is. Hello. I don't write down everything on the slides. That's the other thing about having the slides there. This isn't including every single word that was on all the slides because I know that I'm going to have the slides later. I do use Quizlet. I only have one-ish textbook this semester and I've been logged out. My psychology textbook, basically I click there and then it brings me to the ebook. I make a Quizlet from every like vocab word that's sort of bolded. So like the bolded words and stuff like that, and also the, you know, italic words, and also if there's sort of like a main idea from like an important paragraph or something, then I'll also make that into a note card. You know, I haven't been the best at like actually reviewing the note cards that I make, but at least it does help me like make sure that I'm actually paying attention to what I'm reading and keeps me from zoning out and stuff like that, even though it does take a little longer. I think it improves the quality of like my reading. So in my morning time lapse I included me like writing in this, but this is basically my planner. It's kind of a bullet journal. It's like a super simple bullet journal. Like I don't have like all the artsy fancy things. I just sort of list things in bullet points, and basically the way that I do it is that at the start of every week, I try to do it before Sunday, but sometimes I write down the Sunday list and then I realize that I forgot to write the week list before the Sunday list, so sometimes it comes after the Sunday list, sometimes it comes after even the Monday list. Basically, I write down the events, and the events are like a hollow circle, whereas tasks are, not sure if you can really tell, like that's a hollow circle, and then tasks are solid dots. I haven't put the arrows there yet, but here's my like dots, and then if I have something on the list and then I move it to the next list, it gets an arrow. So yeah, this is the list of all my events that I have this week. Further back, before the start of November, I have a this month thing where I list all the events this month, either things that I have to go to, things that look interesting to me, whatever. I list them there, and then I move them over to the weekly list. So at the start of every week, I look back to the monthly list, and then I put them in the weekly list, and then when the date comes, I put them in the daily list. And that's just so I'm not doing a weekly spread, because I used to have not a bullet journal, but like a journal that I bought, and it had like the weekly, you know, boxes for each day of the week, and I felt like every single day I was either not using enough space, and so then I had a bunch of like empty pages or like empty space, or I was like overfilling the boxes, couldn't even fit all my stuff in the box. So I figured this would be a lot more concise and also giving me enough room and enough flexibility to like have different sized lists every day. And yeah, that's my system. Other people have other systems that they find works, but this is what works for me. Okay, so I'm the worst and I forgot to do a voiceover for this part. Basically, this is just the view from the art squad at night. The sun had just set. There's the clock tower. It's partially lit. It's a lot darker when it's actually nighttime. Okay, so I'm at my desk again. I don't know if you can tell, but I did go to my club meeting thing that I had to go to. I got out early. It's 6:15 and I'm back home. I drove there. I had to scrape ice off my car, which took most of my time between when I left and when I got back, if we're being real, because it was a super short meeting and it kind of wasn't worth going to, but I have to go to them or else I'm in bad standing with the program or something. So I have one more thing start on my to-do list. I don't actually get everything that I starred done every single day, but you know, it's just sort of like a helpful guide. Sometimes I do things that aren't starred before things that are starred because they're just easier to do, like, you know, something where I don't have to get out papers and write things down physically. If I can just do it on my laptop, that's a lot easier. I just had dinner. I didn't film it because my phone was almost dead from using it all day to film the rest of my day, so I let my phone charge while I ate dinner. But yeah, now is probably a good time to take a shower because I have 3 feet of hair and it takes a while to dry, so I like to not go to bed with a wet hair, but I also like to shower at night, so I have to like give myself a few hours for my hair to dry, or at least mostly dry, before I go to bed, so I'm not getting my bed all wet with all this hair. And I'm not gonna vlog it for obvious reasons. I just took a shower. It was a really nice warm shower, which is good because I was like really cold today. I'm in my robe. Don't judge me. I like to just sit around in my robe. I feel like if I didn't sit around in my robe for 3 hours during my day in the life video, it wouldn't be accurate or true to life, so I am gonna make it as true to life as possible, and I'm gonna sit around in my robe. Over there, this is my like organizer. I have like a row for each class, and it's a horizontal organizer because before I used to have, also this Calvin Klein robe is from Marshall's, so don't think that I'm like rich or something because I'm wearing my Calvin Klein robe. Like it was like 25 bucks from Marshall's. But yeah, so I put all my papers that I don't feel like hole punching and putting in a binder yet in here, or, you know, things that I need to sort of just keep working on, things that I haven't finished yet, stuff like that all goes in here. Last year I had a vertical one, so basically like it had like dividers this way and then you put the papers in like that, but I would leave the papers in there for so long that they would like curl over, and then even when I took them out they still kind of curled up, and I just like really hated that, so I got a horizontal paper organizer. It is excellent. This is a really great organization system. The towel is falling off my head, and it keeps a lot of the papers off my desk because last year with my, you know, vertical organizer thing, I hated using it so much that I just ended up having a desk that was covered with papers constantly, and it was just like a really big inconvenience all the time. So like 10 out of 10 would definitely recommend that as like an organization tool. Next, I'm gonna just do like the next thing on my to-do list. So that's gonna be super fun. Yeah, I have an exam in 2 days. I've been like studying for it, just like the normal amount that I have been like studying, like reviewing each class like as I do it, but I haven't been like studying any extra. But like, I don't know, I've been like kind of studying a little bit every day. Like I just review the material that I learn as I learn it, or like a few days after I learn it, so that basically I am sort of keeping up with the material and like keeping it in mind, and like not just like, you know, taking notes on it and then forgetting it later like outside of lecture. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do now. This is me reviewing one of my study sessions for chemistry. Basically in this study session, we like do the problems on the whiteboard and then take pictures of them, so then I can go home and do them myself. So basically I just sort of redo the problems on my own and then check them because I take pictures of the answers when I had them checked by the TA before. Okay, so I checked that off my list. Took me about 20 minutes, which wasn't bad. I'm gonna put on some PJs instead of being in my robe, and then I'm going to do some reading for my intro psych class with the online textbook and Quizlet. Hopefully I can finish the chapter tonight. I might not. If I can, that'll be great, so we'll see. So this one is out of focus, unfortunately. I had changed into my pajamas at this point, and I was like reading the textbook chapter for my psychology class, and I was putting the, you know, highlighted terms in the textbook into a Quizlet, and then also any sort of main idea that I felt like I could make into a Quizlet note card. Good news, I finished the textbook chapter that I was working on, so basically I'm gonna check that off the list too, which is really great. Okay, so I just cleaned a lot. Like I cleaned like half of my apartment, but I like swept the floor and stuff because I had been bringing in a lot of leaves from the outside when I came in for the past couple of weeks because it's been really leafy outside, and I also had a couple of dead bugs that had been on the floor for a while, so I just you know, swept those up, put them in the garbage. I really need to take out the trash, but also it's super cold, so I kind of don't want to go outside right now, so I'm gonna put that off until later. But yeah, I haven't cleaned in a while. I probably should clean more than I do, but I don't clean very much. But also I'm not super dirty, so I feel like it's kind of okay, but like also I feel like I should be cleaning more. But yeah, that's basically most of what I wanted to do today. I really haven't been doing too much like lounging around and stuff. Like I usually will like come back from class and then sit and watch YouTube or Love Island or something else for a little while before I actually start being productive. But today, because I knew I was being watched, I decided to be more productive, and it kind of paid off because I have only a few things left to do on my list, which is really great. Most of the stuff that I have on my to-do list isn't things that are actually due, like I don't have to turn in any of these things, it's all like for myself. And I think that was sort of something that I really wanted to work on this year, was like to set goals for myself, like reviewing material and making sure that I, you know, remember stuff and like fully learned it and all that, because last year I had more of a focus on like what's due, and then if nothing was due the next day, like then I was just sort of like chilling, when in reality I should have been going over the things that I learned instead of just like forgetting them. So yeah, I've been putting a lot more work into making sure that I remember things and like review things. And I think it does help. I think it has helped me quite a bit, because even though I haven't like sat down and been like, all right, I'm gonna study for my exam that I have in 2 days, I've been reviewing consistently, so I still like feel like I'm okay with the material. It's not like I learned something a couple weeks ago and then like completely forgot about it. I had to go back and review it a little bit later, and that was something that I put on myself. Like it's not required by the class, but that was sort of my way of making sure that I don't just let it go in one ear and out the other. You know what I mean? I might either chill for the rest of the night or try to work on that thing that I have to do for club that I'm in. So it's the last part of my day. I am going to bed now. I just brushed my teeth, washed my face. It's like 10:15 right now. I try to go to bed. Ideally, I'd be asleep at 10:30, but doesn't always happen. But the goal is to get 8 hours of sleep, because I wake up at 6:30 now. I used to wake up at 7:30, but then daylight savings happened, and you know, we had the like fallback thing. But I actually decided to kind of stay on the same sleep schedule as I was during daylight savings time. So basically I pretend like it's still an hour ahead of when it is. So basically I'm like physically waking up at the same time as I was before, but like technically, officially waking up an hour earlier and going to bed an hour earlier, which is fine because I have the same amount of like waking time and the same amount of time to do things, except now I get a lot more done in the mornings than I used to, and slightly less done at night. But that's okay because the sun's starting to go down earlier and I feel a lot less motivated to do things later at night because the sun went down already and I don't feel like doing things because I feel like it's nighttime. So actually going to bed earlier and then waking up earlier because the sun is rising around the time that I'm waking up, I'm sort of like maximizing the amount of sunlight that I'm able to get each day, which always makes me feel better. Also, I have to get 8 hours of sleep because if I don't get enough sleep, I get really bad headaches and I just like overall feel bad just throughout the day. So that was my day. Hope you enjoyed it because I don't know if I did. I mean, today wasn't like a bad day, but it was just sort of like a really average day, you know what I mean? Like it was nothing special, but also nothing like really terrible happened either. So I guess this was a pretty typical day. It was probably like a pretty good one to film and talk about because, you know, it wasn't too crazy in any sort of sense. But yeah, thank you for watching. Bye-bye. Okay, hello. I meant to end the
video, but now it's like 2:15 a.m. and I just thought everyone should know that I just woke up from a dream where I was dreaming that I was solving a problem, like the one that I just learned in my chemistry, like, pre-lecture quiz thing that I did yesterday. Like, I literally dreamed about it. Yeah, that's all.